Hi, good morning everyone. Let's get started with our next topic. The topic for this training is the monitoring in SAP basis. Basically, if from day-to-day perspective, what is the daily monitoring that need to be carried out in case if you're working in basis. Okay, to get started, let's connect to the SAP system. Okay, the first T code, most important T code is SM50. Okay, what this T code does. Okay, in this particular T code, you can see the different processes which is running. You can see this is BGD, that is the type is BGD, that means a background process. You can see there are dialog process. These are the dialog process. You can see starting with DIA, stand for dialog. Then here you can see these are the update processes. Okay, so you can see the update process, dialog process. Then these are the enqueue process. Enqueue, basically these are the locks in case if someone tries to access a table which is already being edited by someone else. So there will be a lock put in, that is called an enqueue, which is taken care by the enqueue process. Okay, so we have seen the background process. So background process, basically if we are running a job which takes hours and hours, so we run it in background. So these background process of running these background jobs, you can see these are the number of background jobs which is available in this system. Then here you can see this is a spool process. Basically it is used for printing. Okay, then here you can see that UP2, basically this is stand for the update 2. Here you can see there are two types of update process. One is V1 update, another is V2 update. So V1 update is basically critical updates. Okay, so that is about this particular T code, which is SM50. So basically here you can see which program is running. In this particular case, you can see there is just one program which is running, which is basically I am connected to a system and running something on the system. So that's why you can see only one program in the system. Okay, at the top you can see the summary, basically which system you are connected to, how many dialog process, how many are free, how many are available. So this applies for the rest of the work processes as well. So that is about the process overview using T code SM50. Let's go back. Let's click on this particular back arrow. Okay, now we are in the SAP Easy Access screen. Basically, this is the home screen for SAP. Okay, so next thing is let's go to the T code called SM66. Okay, SM66, if you note, these are basically the global work process overview. Say for example, if you have multiple application servers and you have one central instance and one database instance, in that case, you for seeing the total SAP processes, you may need to go to different systems to find out which process is running on which server. So what you do is you just connect using the transaction called SM66, which will give you the overview of processes at a central place. So that is the reason we use process called SM66. Okay, so let's go to the next T code, which is SM51. Okay, this particular T code, if you look at this T code, it will show you the number of servers which is there. Basically, if you have say dialog instance, you have say spool process running in different server, you have background process running in different servers. So that is the time it is helpful to see how many servers are running, how many and what type of functionality they are providing. So in this particular case, you can see this server is providing dialog, batch, update, update to, spool, enqueue, and ICM work processes. So that's basically it will tell you how many servers are available and what is the state of those servers. Okay, so and directly you can just click on this arrow and it will take you to the respective application server or respective server. So that is about SM51. Let's go to the next T code, which is about SM12. Okay, SM12, basically this is to validate, to find out if there are locks in the system. So this, say for example, if a user complains that I cannot log into my system, and for some I cannot log into my table, I cannot write into that table, and somehow accidentally my session was closed and still that lock is on. So you can go to this T code called SM12, and you can just click on by user or by client. You can search, and if you know the table name, you can do by table as well. So here you can see there are no locks in the system. Okay, so that is about the T code SM12. Okay, so the next T code that we will look into is ST22. ST22 basically is to see the dumps in the system. Say for example, if your system, you are running your system and there are dumps in the system. So this T code is basically to get an overview of how many dumps are there in the system. Is your system is really dumping, and what is the issue, so that you can look into that issue and fix that issue. Basically it will tell you details about how many dumps are there in the system, when the dump was created in the system, and it will provide the information on how to fix that particular dump as well. Okay, so that is mainly about the ST22. So this is pretty important T code because it will help you to gauge the health of your system. Okay, here you can see there are a lot of dumps in the system. Okay, so these dumps you can find out from which user, what time, in which client, which program is dumping, which table is dumping, which. Okay, and if you just click on that particular any of the dump, you will see the details of how that dump was created. Okay, which program, what happened, why the dump was created, what you can do to fix that particular dump. Okay, you can see a little bit of error analysis as well. Okay, so this is telling that the maximum number of rested screen level is restricted to 90, so number of screen is exceeded. Okay, and it will tell you how to correct this error as well. If you just click, it will tell, okay, increase this parameter, or just search for these parameters in the marketplace. So that is how we can fix these dumps. Okay, so that is about the dumps in the system. Next thing is SM21. Okay, in SM21, okay, we'll go to the SM21 T code. Okay, this T code shows the system messages, so it will, you can filter it based on, if suppose if you want to see only the problem messages, problems and warning, or if you want to see all the messages, and you can filter it by date or by process, by T code, by user. So different criteria are there, so we'll just select by the default criteria. So if there are no errors, you will see this type of screen. Okay, say for example, if there are errors, say for example, let me take out this and let me take out this as well. Okay, so it's basically it's open-ended selection. I'm not giving the start date and the end date. Okay, so here you can see that in this format this will be reported. You can see what time the message was logged, which process it is, okay, so which priority it is, what group it is, and some detailed text. Okay, and if you click on this text, just double click on that, you will see the details of what happened and how to fix that particular error. Okay, so that is about SM21. Okay, let's go to the up update screen. So updates is basically whenever you make any changes in the system. Okay, so update T code is SM13. Okay, so here you can see that whenever you make any changes in the system, there will be updates will be triggered. Depending on what you are trying to do, that will be the type of the update. It could be a V1 update, it could be a V2 update, and you can see some update errors could also be seen here. Say for example, if you're trying to do something and the process was aborted in between because of some failure or something, those processes will be seen here in the errors. Okay, so that is about the update request. Okay, if I click on the administration tab here you can see at the bottom you can see update is active. Okay, now here on this screen, this is basically an administration tab where you can see cancelled update request, all update request, reorganize update request, and on which server this update request is. Basically this is the only server. If you have created a server group for the update request, you can see that server group here, and parameters, if they are defined, it will be seen here. So that is about SM13. Okay, so let's go to the next parameter, which is on, okay, here on this screen you can see the different parameters for update. Okay, so let's go to the next T code, which is ST02. Okay, this is basically it's for tuning your memory. Okay, so in this transaction, basically you can look at different buffer statistics. You can see memory statistics like roll in, roll out, extended memory, roll memory, heap memory. Okay, so all that information, and in case if you see a lot of red things, that means there is a lot of swap is happening. Okay, so the swap indicates that the system is running low on memory and there is swapping taking place in the system. Okay, so that is about this. Here you can see, okay, in this particular screen you can see these are the different types of buffers are there. Okay, things like you have name tab, table definition, field definition, and tab, initial records, program, CUA, screen, calendar, okay, table. So these are basically the different types of buffers you can have. Then there is a hit ratio, allocation. Okay, so these are basically the things that you can capture in ST02 transaction. Okay, next thing is let's go to the database backup logs. So we are going to the transaction called DB12. Okay, in this particular transaction here we can see the last unsuccessful backup, last successful backup, overview of database backup, archiving directory status, overview of ready log files, overview of ready log backups. Basically this is showing the overview of the full backup. Okay, let's go to the next thing is on DBA scheduling calendar, which is DB13. So using DB13, basically we monitor the jobs. Okay, so here we can define, okay, when and what time, what type of job should run. Okay, so these are the things we can do it in DB13. So this is basically showing that this is your action pad, that is you can schedule any particular type of job over here. Okay, you can just select the planning calendar as well, that is what time with what frequency. Okay, is it a event based job or trigger based job or time based job? Okay, so basically you can define the things here. Okay, then the next thing is, let's go to this particular T code called DB14. Okay, in this DB14 T code, you can see that the logs, basically logs of database backup, redo log backup, BR space, BR connect, BR archive, data archiving, and lot more different process, whatever is defined here. Okay, so that is about DB14. Okay, next thing is, let's go to this particular T code called job status overview. Okay, in job status overview, let's go to the T code first. Okay, SM37. Okay, in this particular screen, this is basically a screen for monitoring and checking the status of your job. Okay, here you can select by job name, by user, by a type of the job, okay, by the date at which the job runs or job can run. Okay, so all these things can be found from this particular transaction, which is SM37. Okay, this is showing that this job has a spool list, who created the job, what is the status of this particular job. So all that information is captured here. Okay, next thing is, let's go to a T code called ST04. Okay, ST04. Okay, let's go to the T code first. Okay, so let's go to this T code ST04. Okay, in ST04, here you are seeing DB performance monitor. Okay, so basically this is showing the performance, how this particular system is behaving. Okay, so basically we are seeing here things like space management. Okay, so basically you can see the different parameters in space management, that is database, users, table space, okay, segments. Okay, then you can see things about the performance management, that is IO weight analysis, SQL statement analysis, statistical information, okay, and another performance related information. Okay, then you can see this is the jobs. So different jobs, like you have the planning calendar, end-to-end configuration, DBA logs, backup logs, all that can be monitored from here. Okay, next is about the diagnostics. You can do the diagnostics from here. You can alert centrally from this location. Okay, so basically let's go to this particular T code called SP01. Basically we use it for checking the spool statistics. So SP01, this is about your spool status. For example, if you are printing something, this is where you can check the status of your print, whether the output is created or not, whether output is printed or not. Okay, so it shows different status about your print request, your printer status, and all that. So that is about the printing stuff. Then things like, you can go to this particular T code and say, for example, if you want to check database logs. Okay, for checking the database log, what you can do is, you can go to this particular T code called Oracle Log Monitor. So basically you are monitoring the Oracle logs here. So that is about the key transaction codes for ABAP system. Okay, so for example, if you have an SLD system, okay, so for an SLD system, okay, let me take you to the SLD system. Let me log into one of the SLD system. SLD, basically it could be your solution manager. So let's connect to one of the solution manager system. Okay, so we are connecting to this solution manager system. Okay, so we are logging into this particular solution manager system. So let's check some of the key things, like for example, if it is an SLD system, you can check the SLD using transaction called SLD check. So here you can see it has opened a window, this being a Java based application. So let's log into this. Okay, so we are logging into this. Here you can see that how the SLD check is behaving. Okay, here you can see that everything is green. Basically it is trying to check some of the RFCs, trying to test some of the transactions, and based on that it will report on what is the status of this particular T code. Okay, so that is about SLD check. Okay, so in case if suppose for example you have a system which is an XI system, so basically what you can do is you can check the caching there. So basically it is starting, these are the different XI runtime caches are there. Okay, so that is about XI underscore cache. Okay, let's go to the another T code for monitoring your XI system, which is SXI underscore monitor. Okay, so this basically it is SXI XI underscore monitor. Okay, so this is basically for monitoring your XI queues. Okay, so different queues, so you can monitor how that queues are behaving. Okay, then basically what we have seen is some of the major T codes that we have seen. We have seen how the performance monitoring stuff, we have seen about the OS utilization. Okay, so that's what actually I wanted to cover in this particular training. Thanks for joining and have a nice day. Bye bye.